Good evening, YouTube. We're going to get back into Job, start with chapter 31. Thank you if you have subscribed. I ask that you hit the like button and share the videos. All right, let's read these next 3 chapters of Job and see what's happening here, okay? All right, chapter 31, innocent of sensual sins. I made a covenant with mine eyes. Why then should I think upon a maid? Let's see. Or a virgin or young woman, okay? For what portion of God is there from above, and what inheritance of the Almighty from on high? Is not destruction to the wicked and a strange punishment to the workers of iniquity? Let me see. Or disaster, basically. Doth not he see my ways and count all my steps? I have walked with vanity. If I have walked with vanity, or if my foot hath hasted to deceit, let me be weighed in an even balance, that God may know mine integrity. If my step hath turned out of the way, and mine heart walked after mine eyes, and if any blot hath cleaved to mine hands, then let me sow, and let another eat. Yea, let my offspring be rooted out. If mine heart have been deceived by a woman, or if I have laid wait at my neighbor's door, then let my wife grind unto another, and let others bow down upon her. For this is an heinous crime, yea, it is an iniquity to be punished by the judges. For it is a fire that consumeth to destruction, and will root out all mine increase. Okay, so he's saying he's innocent of sensual sins. He hasn't looked upon another woman, or gone after other women. If so, then let his wife, he said, grind upon another. Ain't that something? Well, grind unto another, and let others bow down upon her. All right, such language. But anyway, let's go on. The next part of the chapter is titled, Innocent of Abusing His Power. I did despise the cause of my manservant, or of my maidservant. No, not I did. If I did despise the cause of my manservant, or of my maidservant, when they contended with me, what then shall I do when God riseth up? And when he visiteth, what shall I answer him? Did not he that made me in the womb make him, and did not one fashion us in the womb? If I have withheld, in other words, we're the same. Okay, they're human just like I am. Okay, I have not mistreated them. If I have mistreated them, okay, in other words, did not he that made me in the womb make him, and did not one fashion us in the womb? If I have withheld the poor from their desire, or have caused the eyes of the widow to fall, or have eaten my morsel myself alone, and the fatherless have not eaten thereof, okay, if I did withhold from the poor, and not, provide for them, give to them, give what they need and what they desire. All right. And the fatherless, if I didn't give them anything to eat, while I'm sitting up here eating fat and lovely. All right. For from my youth he was brought up with me as with a father, and I have guided her from my mother's womb. If I have seen any perish for want of clothing, or any poor without covering, if his loins have not blessed me, and if he were not warmed with the fleece of my sheep, if I have lifted up my hand against the fatherless when I saw my help in the gate, then let my arm fall from my shoulder blade, and my arm be broken from the bone. Okay, if I have done this, if I have not provided for them, the poor, the fatherless, the hungry, so on and so forth, okay, then let my arm fall off from my shoulder blade. Okay, for destruction from God was a terror to me, and by reason of his highness I could not endure. Next part of the chapter, innocent of trusting in his wealth. If I have made my gold my hope, or have said to the fine gold, thou art my confidence. Okay, putting his trust in his money, in his wealth, his finances. If I rejoice because my wealth was great, and because mine hand had gotten much. If I beheld the sun when it shined, or the moon walking in brightness, and my heart hath secretly enticed, or my mouth hath kissed my hand. This also were an iniquity to be punished by the judge, for I should have denied the God that is above. Innocent of not caring. In other words, if I put my trust in my wealth, my material status, my gold, my monies, in other words, okay, then he would have denied, God. Okay? All right? Because God is the one that provides, has provided. The next chapter, innocent of not caring for his enemies. If I rejoiced at the destruction of him that hated me, or lifted up myself when evil found him. Okay. Neither have I suffered my mouth to sin by wishing a curse to his soul, his enemies here. Okay, if I rejoiced in their downfall and their destruction, and I haven't even, cursed them, his enemies here. If the men of my tabernacle said not, oh, that we had of his flesh, we cannot be satisfied. The stranger did not lodge in the street, but I opened my doors to the traveler. If I covered my transgressions as Adam by hiding my iniquity in my bosom, did I fear a great multitude, or did the contempt of my families terrify me, that I kept silent and went not out of the door? Here, Job, next section. Job pleads to meet God and defend himself. Okay. Oh, that one would hear me. Behold, my desire is that the Almighty would answer me, and that mine adversary had written a book. Okay, these innocent, I'm innocent of this, I'm innocent of that. We have gone through these things. Many of us have gone through these types of things, where some kind of destruction has happened in our lives. All right, and we're trying to figure out, what did I do wrong? I didn't do this. I didn't hurt nobody. I helped people. I love people. I gave to people who were in need. I put my trust and faith in God and not in money and material gain, material wealth, mammon or whatever. Okay, but so what have I done? What did I do to deserve this? For this to be heaped upon me? All right. And God, hear me. Okay, seems like you're not hearing me. You're not listening to me. You're not responding to me. You're not helping me. Oh, that one would hear me. Behold, my desire is that the Almighty would answer me, and that mine adversary had written a book. Okay, even in the innocence, back to that part, many of us can say, I didn't even do nothing to my enemies, to those who have hurt me. I didn't strike back. I didn't curse them. Hex them, whatever the case may be. All right. Surely I would take it upon my shoulder and bind it as a crown to me. I would declare unto him the number of my steps. As a prince would I go near unto him. If my land cry against me, or that the furrows likewise thereof complain. If I have eaten the fruit thereof without money, or have caused the owners thereof to lose their life, let thistles grow instead of wheat, and cockle instead of barley. The words of Job are ended. Okay. All right, now we have another person coming into play. Elihu intervenes in the debate. Now, we have not heard from Elihu yet, okay? If you go back to my very first video, okay, which it was just an introduction to this book, okay, Elihu is not one of the three friends, excuse me, that, came to quote-unquote comfort Job and then accused him of, doing and being something that he wasn't, okay? But here he comes, and he has something to say, all right? Elihu intervenes in the debate. So these three men ceased to answer Job because he was righteous in his own eyes. Okay? Yeah, well, hey, ain't nothing else to be said. Okay? He believed he right. He believed he ain't did nothing wrong. He believed he's righteous, so on and so forth. Okay? He said he was innocent of this. He was innocent of that. He just ain't did nothing wrong. Okay? For any of this to happen to him. Nothing. Not a thing. So there's nothing else for us to say to him. Then was kindled the wrath of Elihu, the son of Barachel, the Buzite of the kindred of Ram. Against Job was his wrath kindled, because he justified himself rather than God. So Elihu, okay, who obviously was standing by listening to all this, okay, he got, pissed. Because Job is sitting here so busy talking about how righteous he is. Okay? And that he didn't, that he's done nothing. I haven't done anything wrong. Okay? to deserve this. All right. Also against his 3 friends was his wrath kindled, because they had found no answer and yet had condemned Job. Okay, so he mad at the friends too. Because, you're condemning him. Okay, but you don't have any answers for him either, really, just your condemnation. Now Elihu had waited till Job had spoken, because they were elder than he. When Elihu saw that there was no answer in the mouth of these 3 men, then his wrath was kindled. And Elihu the son of Barachel the Buzite answered and said, I am young, and ye are very old. Wherefore I was afraid, and durst not show you mine opinion. I'm going to say nothing. You all are older than me. I'm not going to say anything. I said, days should speak, and multitude of years should teach wisdom. Age, in other words, age and experience. Old, which some people like to laugh at and put down. You old, ha 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 ha, that type of thing. Okay. But here, once again, he says, days should speak, and multitude of years should teach wisdom. But there is a spirit in man, and the inspiration of the Almighty giveth them understanding. Great men are not always wise, neither do the aged understand judgment. Therefore, you might be old, but you may not understand something. There's a spirit in man nonetheless, age or not. Okay? That may not always allow for wisdom or understanding. Therefore I said, hearken to me, I will also show mine opinion. Behold, I waited for your words. I gave ear to your reasons, whilst ye searched out what to say. I was listening to you. Yea, I attended unto you, and behold, there was none of you that convinced Job, or that answered his words. None of you all convinced him, and he got done speaking about how righteous and great he was, and you didn't have anything to say. Lest ye should say, we have found out wisdom. God thrusteth him down, not man. Now he hath not directed his words against me, neither will I answer him with your speeches. I think that what he's saying is, I'm not going to say the same thing that y'all been saying. I'm not just going to condemn him, all right? They were amazed. They answered no more. They left off speaking. It's, amazed at the wisdom of the youth here. When I had waited, for they spake not, but stood still and answered no more. I said, I will answer also my part. I will also show mine opinion, okay? I waited for y'all to say something back to him, because you're older than me. You're my elders, and I respect you. Let me see what you all have to say. You don't have anything to say. I've been listening, so I waited for you to say something. You don't, so now I'm going to speak. For I am full of matter. The spirit within me constraineth me. Behold, my belly is as wine which hath no vent. It is ready to burst like new bottles. But I gotta say something. Okay, I gotta speak. It's just, I got something to say. I will speak that I may be refreshed. I will open my lips and answer. Let me not, I pray you, accept any man's person, neither let me give flattering titles unto man. For I know not to give flattering titles. In so doing, my Maker would soon take me away. Okay, I'm not going to put you on no pedestals here and give you no great grand titles, okay, about who and what you all believe yourself to be, okay? All right. Chapter 33. Elihu challenges Job to a debate. Okay. Wherefore, Job, I pray thee, hear my speeches and hearken to all my words. Now just listen now. Behold, now I have opened my mouth, my tongue hath spoken in my mouth. My words shall be of the uprightness of my heart, and my lips shall utter knowledge clearly. The Spirit of God hath made me, and the breath of the Almighty hath given me life. The Spirit of God made me. And, man, and God breathed unto man, and man became a living soul. The breath of the Almighty hath given me life. If thou canst answer me, set thy words in order before me. Stand up. Behold, I am according to thy wish in God's stead. I also am formed out of the clay. Behold, my terror shall not make thee afraid, neither shall my hand be heavy upon thee. All right. Elihu, quotes Job's complaints. Surely thou hast spoken in mine hearing, and I have heard the voice of thy words, saying, I am clean without transgression, I am innocent, neither is there iniquity in me. Behold, he findeth occasions against me. He counteth me for his enemy. He putteth my feet in the stocks. He marketh all my paths. Okay, you have sat here and said that you're clean, you're innocent, you haven't done anything wrong. There's no iniquity in you or anything like that. But you're saying that God is is against you and counting you as his enemy, that he has imprisoned you, okay, and done this to you. Elihu answers Job's complaints. Behold, in this thou art not just. I will answer thee, that God is greater than man. Why dost thou strive against him? For he giveth not account of any of his matters. Okay. He doesn't give you an account. He doesn't owe you an explanation. He doesn't, okay? For God speaketh once, yea, twice, yet man perceiveth it not. God speaks. How often do we say, if I could just get an answer, or hear, God just won't answer me, tell me something. God speaks once, twice. But we don't perceive it. We don't hear it. We don't understand it. We don't see it. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon men, and slumbering unto the bed. Okay, when you're asleep. Then he openeth the ears of men, and sealeth their instruction. Wow. I got to underline that, y'all. Excuse me. Here, I got to underline. Excuse me. My underline ain't all that great, but. Okay. Then he openeth the ears of men, while you are at rest, while you are in your deep sleep, and sealeth their instructions. Whoa, their instruction. That he may withdraw man from his purpose, and hide pride from man. He keepeth back his soul from the pit, and his life from perishing by the sword. He is chastened also with pain upon his bed, and the multitude of his bones with strong pain. So that his life abhorreth bread, and his soul dainty meat. Here, let me see what that means. The soul. Oh, okay. It's just saying succulent, okay? His flesh is so that his life abhorreth bread, and his soul succulent meat. Okay, in other words. His flesh is consumed away, that it cannot be seen, and his bones that were not seen stick out. Yea, his soul draweth near unto the grave, and his life to the destroyers. If there be a messenger with him, an interpreter, one among 1,000, to show unto man his uprightness, then he is gracious unto him, and saith, Deliver him from going down to the pit. I have found a ransom. His flesh shall be fresher than a child's. He shall return to the days of his youth. He shall pray unto God, and he will be favorable unto him, and he shall see his face with joy, for he will render unto man his righteousness. He looketh upon men, and if any say, I have sinned, and perverted that which was right, and it profited me not, he will deliver his soul from going into the pit, and his life shall see the light. He looketh upon men, and if any say, I have sinned, and perverted that which was right, and it profited me not, he will deliver his soul from going into the pit, and his life shall see the light. We're not perfect. If we can admit our sin, our iniquity, our wrongdoing. Okay? Lo, all these things worketh God oftentimes with man, to bring back his soul from the pit, to be enlightened with the light of the living. Mark well, O Job, hearken unto me, hold thy peace, and I will speak. If thou hast anything to say, answer me, speak, for I desire to justify thee. If not, hearken unto me, Hold thy peace, and I shall teach thee wisdom. All right? Just listen to what I have to say here. Young or not, I will teach you wisdom. Now let's see what we have here in the notes, okay? For chapter 33. Following further apology, Elihu agrees that God has a higher purpose in Job's suffering. God's purpose is not to exact retribution from Job, but to discipline him to keep Job from wrongdoing, either real or potential. He invites Job to respond. Elihu makes the point that God is greater than we are, and no one has the right to require an explanation from him for what occurs. But we do. Demand to know, to have an understanding, and don't have probably the, I don't want to say capability, because we are finite. I feel like we are infinite beings, but we are finite at the same time. We're limited. And we in the religious study series, we've gone over that when we went over Hinduism and Buddhism, how we are limited beings. In your limited understanding, you seek to you seek to understanding from something that is infinite and greater than you. Some things done by God remain incomprehensible to man. Basically, that's just what I was saying. Yet Elihu says we can hear God speaking if only we will listen and not look for the words of God or the answer from God to be the way we want them to be. The way we think they should be. God will speak, and God does. In other words, do you hear? Do you see? Do you have an understanding? Okay. All right, we'll get back into Job. Okay. All right.